Hello guys, welcome back to Just Friends with Abdullah, my show. Another reaction today, showing you guys an interesting video that I saw. It's a bit old, but I think it's something that you can definitely relate to, and I'll give you my comments and feedback, as you all know, during the video. And let's get right to it.
I entered my 30s being broke. I lost my long-term relationship. I had no direction. I had a shitty job. I was unhealthy and I didn't like myself. So if there was a loser award of the year, I felt like I would have been a good candidate. As someone who always did well at school, at university, when I graduated university, a lot of people had a lot of expectations for me. And when I turned 30s, I looked around, I felt like I was so behind. I felt so embarrassed, and I felt like the window of opportunity for me to make a good life for myself was closing in quite quickly. And that good life that I always dreamed of was never gonna happen for me. And if you're watching this video, maybe you're feeling like that too. I don't know why, but everywhere I look, especially in the past decade, it seems like there is this narrative that if you haven't made it by 30s, actually if you haven't made it by 19, then you're pretty much considered some sort of a loser. As I am now soon to enter my 40s, I look back into my last decade and I realized there was so many things that I learned from it. And my hope for this video is, if you're watching this feeling down and feeling like you have accomplished nothing in life, then I hope this video will inspire you to take action and to give you a little bit of comfort, because the truth of the matter is, it is never too late. Everything that you ever want in life is out there for the taking, and they can be yours too if you approach them the right way. The truth is, no one has all their lives figured out. We are all figuring things.
I echo everything she just said, and this is something that's real. It's a problem. A lot of people think, because of social media, once again, because of how things are fast-paced and moving, they think their life is over at 30. In fact, some people think that their life is over at 25 if they don't make it. And I'm not exaggerating. This is something real. So this is just a reminder that nothing is really over, and you should never give up. And I exactly, this creator, what she says is spot on. There's always a second chance. There's always a time for you to try new things, to try different things, and it's never over, because your purpose and your goals and your ambitions are different completely than other people. It's not about the same things. It's about what works for you and what makes you happy. Let's continue.
Figuring things out as we go. I was watching Ali Abdaal's video the other day, and he gave very valid reasons of why we might feel lost in our life. We're feeling lost because we don't know where to go, we don't know where we are, and we don't know the path to get there. So when you feel like you haven't got everything together, it's most likely because you're feeling any one of these or a combination of these. While when you look at other people, it seems like they know exactly where they're heading and where they are. So when you look at it very subjectively like this, there is a hope for us. I will be talking about, from my personal experience, how I figured some of these out and how you can do the same too. But first, I want to say that actually, when you feel like you haven't got it all together at any age, and especially in your 30s, it is actually a good thing. I'm sure you know someone who, although how many decades have passed, every time you speak to them, they are an exact same person as the last decade. So in another word, they haven't changed one bit. And I talked about this before. There is a fine line between being content with your life and being complacent. And a lot of times people don't realize that something is missing or they need to change, not because they are content, but rather because they are complacent with where they are. So if you feel a bit lost, or you feel like something is missing and you haven't got it all figured out, consider that a good thing. Consider that an opportunity for you to take action, do something and change.
That's a very valid
Another
point,
angle
actually,
that we can look at this is an average life expectancy of the world is 70 years old. Can you imagine how boring life would be if you...
So this is interesting, because in my previous video that I just shot, actually, I mentioned that FOMO I was talking about fear of missing out and how fear of missing out creates this hole in you that you are always lacking in contentment. What she's saying here is that there's a fine line between being in content and at the same time being complacent. And that is true. You don't want to always be too comfortable, right? Because the enemy of progress is being comfortable. So you always want to find ways to at least grow yourself, figure out new sides. And this is not about being in content or fear of missing out, as I was saying before, but it's more about making sure you're somebody who is always evolving. Because, and this is what I think she will try to get to later, as you age and as you get older, you discover new sides about yourself. You find out that you like things that you never thought you liked. That's because you experimented and you tried and you experienced them. And you've discovered new chapters of who you are as a person, who you are as an individual. And that is actually very important. That is part of your journey of being self-fulfilled and living a purposeful, happy-led life, where you feel inspired and where you feel that you are somebody who is going to achieve what is required of you to have the maximum amount of joy and happiness and satisfaction of this life. So it's good to always be out of your comfort zone, but be aware of, taking it extreme and obviously being hit back by reality.
If you've got every single thing figured out by the age of 30 and nothing changes after that. Every one of us has been taught that we need to go to school in order for us to be successful or to do something. We need to go to university and graduate so we can be successful, do something. We need to find someone to have a couple of kids with and then buy a house. And then after all that, you then live happily ever after. But life is rarely like that. And the sooner you realize that there is no fixed pattern in life and everyone just has different timeline and their own path, the better it is going to be for you. What we've been taught isn't necessarily how we need to live our lives, and there's something else out there for us to figure out as an individual and know that it is possible, very possible, to turn your life around even though you mess up your entire 20s or early 30s. So if you mess up your entire 20s and in your 30s one day you wake.
So this is brilliant, and I'm gonna stop it here because I don't want to take too long, but this is a brilliant message that she's trying to say, mainly because it's very true. You can't have your life figured out right away, and her message is the energy of what people who are millionaires, or they had their life figured out, or they found out their purpose in their early 20s and they're reaping the rewards and they're doing their thing. Not that she means that their life is going to be boring because they figured out everything, but it is very true that what's beautiful about life is discovering new sides of yourself, and that everybody is on a different timeline and their timeline is not necessarily your timeline. So it's a nice feeling to know that you're doing things and you're rediscovering who you are as a person, and you are trying to do different experiences. And of course, you might succeed, you might fail, but that's kind of the beauty of life, isn't it? The beauty in it isn't that you've succeeded and that's it and that's who you are, and it can be boring. Now, obviously, she's trying to put a positive spin to it, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's a good thing because it's also an acknowledgement from her that she was also given these kind of preconceived notions of success and people having it figured out. But she's saying to you, no, she's in her 30s and she is discovering new ways of being successful, of being fulfilled. And maybe she doesn't even have everything figured out still, but she's on that path of really knowing about herself. Even I, as a person, I found out that I enjoy writing and podcasting and YouTubing at the age of 35, which is my age right now. Well, 34, because I started the channel a year ago, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. So the point here is that there is also beauty in just finding out new different sides of yourself, and not just, okay, this is who I am, this is how I'm gonna make money, get a house, get kids, and that's that. No, there's also beauty in knowing that I can do this. Oh, I can speak about people, and I can help people, and I can podcast about it. Oh, I can write something. I can write a script. Oh, I'm talking about myself here. Oh, I can, maybe take some cooking lessons. something that I also figured out recently that I enjoyed, or I enjoy running on the beach. I'm not really a runner. I'm somebody who used to have maybe sports activities or hit the gym, but not really running. But now I started to enjoy running, and I started enjoying just going around, even discovering nature in the country that I'm living in, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and going hiking on mountains. So my point is, in bringing up all of this, is it's just a phase. It's just a chapter in your life. It's not the only chapter, and definitely it's not the end of the chapter, right? It probably could be a start of a new chapter, and that's, I think, her point and message here. Life doesn't end in your 20s. Not what social media is trying to portray, not what influencers and people who have things figured out at 18, 19, 20 became millionaires. You're not them, and if you are them, congratulations, and I'm happy for you. And even you who have made it, you will get bored eventually, right? And you're trying to figure out new things about your life. But for the people that still haven't made it, quote unquote, and haven't succeeded, you don't have to worry about it. Take life as it is. Enjoy the moments that you are in, and learn things about yourself, and take your time with what you want to hone your craft in and what you want to be the best in. So don't sweat about it, and don't worry about it at all. I'm gonna leave the full link of her video in the description if you guys want to check it out. She's a really cool creator. I like her content. And let me know your thoughts. Have you figured out your life? Are you somebody who's still trying to look for what you're trying to achieve? Are you someone that is still trying to build yourself, or are you still struggling? Feel free to share it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in another reaction.